All right. Good morning, everyone. Then let us go ahead with the day 6. And I hope you all have revised day 5 agenda along with the previous days. Because today onwards, the topics will get more, you can say, towards core topics. So I wanted everyone to revise the things properly. So I have given you in the last class what is the meaning of how to go ahead with git bash and git clone. We have seen the static. We have seen what do you mean by static field, static method, static initialization block, and the meaning of import static. We have started with the concept of array. Today we will see enum. I have given you a very big homework which says revise everything in the last 5 days, and I'm assuming everyone have done the revision. What do you mean by revision? It is not only looking into the program and looking into the diagrams. Revision indicates you have practiced all the source codes which I have taught you in the last 5 days. So I think in the last 5 days, approximately, if you consider 10 programs in a day, so 50 programs at least, or at least 40 programs we have seen in the last week. So I want everyone, please practice the questions and or the programs by typing the code on your own. जब तक आप कोड टाइप नहीं करोगे तब तक आपको प्रोग्रामिंग स्किल नहीं आएगा. The reason is when you type you get errors, when you resolve those errors you will get confidence. That's how it is. So we have talked about static versus final keyword. We have talked about array. We have seen array index always starts with 0. There is always a new keyword with respect to array. Then we have talked about array of references and array of instances. We have already seen what happens when you just create array of reference. Initially, they are assigned to null, and array of instances means they are allocated with some objects. Later on, I have given you one, you can say, example where I have given these fields into the class student. And then you have created array of 5 students, accept the student record, display the student record. The same example I have covered with respect to employee class. So that's the reason I'm not going to supply you the solution for the same. The reason is you know how to create a class, you know how to create the fields, you know how to create array, you know how to create array of objects or array of references, and you also know how to write accept and display function within the class. And that's the reason the same example I have given you with the help of employee class. What I have changed, I've just changed the fields of the class. So it is expected that students should do the practice questions on their own. No doubt you can join the lab session in the from 2 to 3. Get your errors resolved if you are getting any. या कोई specific point lecture का आपको नहीं समझ में आया या कोई specific point पे you have got stuck, please join the lab session, and that's for you only. Later on, I have given you one more question and you all have promised that you will do it. So here, in this case, here also I have taken that day employee class ka example where I have created different packages. Whenever you want to accept, display, calculate all these things from the user, in that case, if you are maintaining these two separate files, make sure if the fields are private, you must write getter and setter. So when you say getters and setters, in that case, accept function में आपने लिखा रहेगा please enter the name of the student. तो आपने sc.getString और सॉरी sc.next यूज किया रहेगा. तो नेक्स्ट फंक्शन आपका रिटर्न क्या देता रहेगा? लेट अस स्ट्रिंग नेम. तो आपको इसके बाद सेटर को कॉल करना है. सो दैट इज हाउ यू हैव टू गो फॉर what I have said. Let us say I want to accept the ID. So you will say sc.nextInt. Enter the ID for the student. So you will put this in some variable integer ID. And here it is a local variable. Now you say set ID and you will pass this set ID, right? So that is how it is, right? Give me. I hope students are able to join the meeting, right? Someone was calling me continuously. Yeah, I was on unmute. And someone was calling me continuously. Anyways, uh, the meeting ID is also shared on the Zoom portal. I hope you all are comfortable in getting the meeting details, right? So still few students are finding the problem. Just ensure you enter the correct meeting ID and the password. And whenever you sign in, then please make sure you try to, when you sign in, then you join the day. Okay? All right. Mm. Okay. So if the field is not private, then still we should use setter to access the field in the. See, अगर private नहीं है, तो आप setter क्यों लिखोगे ना? Is it okay? Is it okay? All right. So, but Aditya, as you know, whenever you are talking about the fields must be always declared as private, so that all the other, you can say, objects shall not modify it. Okay. So I've given you this example and I want everyone to solve it by end of the day. Correct? Now, as far as your day 6 agenda is concerned, so I have spent around 20 minutes in clearing all your pending doubts, and I hope there is no doubt right now. And I request make sure you complete your previous pending task by today. So let us talk about today's agenda. We will see 2D array, we will see enum, and we will talk about string. And that's how is your today's agenda. So I'll just save it at the correct location. All right, good. So let us continue with the declaration of 2D array first. As you know, we have seen the concept of 1D array. Assuming you know how to create a 1D array, how to access the element within 1D array, what do you mean by for loop? What is for each loop? What do you mean by arrays.toString? What do you mean by simple toString? And we have seen different methods of arrays class into the last lecture. The arrays class belongs to java.util package. Now we will talk about 2D array. The way we have created one-dimensional array, similarly Java gives you multi-dimensional arrays also. And when I'm saying multi-dimensional array, it means I have one or more number of dimension, and that is nothing but 2D array, right? Now, let us say I'm declaring one integer array, a1 is equal to new integer of 3, 3. If I'm saying I'm using 2D array, at that moment, I'll write 2 times square brackets and I'll pass the size. Where this, let us say I'm passing 4. So here 4 indicates number of rows and 3 indicates number of columns. Since I'm passing 2D array, that means here the square brackets that I must pass is always 2 square brackets. This is a valid statement. Correct? Next, suppose I'm saying integer a2. Again here I'm saying 3 and 2. 3 by 2 array is equal to new integer 3 and 2. This is wrong syntax because whenever you're saying I want to go for a 2D array, initially you will just write the statement as empty. I'll just call this. Right? Now, in this scenario, whenever you're passing this data, in that case, you are trying to have this valid statement. So the reason is array is always your dynamic memory allocation. Memory is allocated at the runtime. तो new के आगे आपको size लिखना है. Again, so if I'm saying a3 is equal to this, is equal to new int, right? And here I'm passing maybe 1, 2, 3, and maybe comma 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, and 9. In this case, whenever you are talking about array, here I have not mentioned the size, but I have tried to mention the number of elements. So this is also absolutely okay. So when you're saying I want to go for two-dimensional array, या तो आप दोनों रोज एंड कॉलम्स का साइज स्पेसिफाई करो, या तो आप अगर साइज स्पेसिफाई नहीं कर रहे हो तो एलिमेंट्स को स्पेसिफाई करो. This is basically called as declaration, which is valid and it is okay for us. Next, if someone will say, like C programming, I am writing new integer and I'm passing 6 and I'm not passing anything. Is it valid statement in Java? If you say 6, in this case, let us execute first. Can you see? There's no error over here. But at this moment, here, when you try to assign some elements, in that case, it will not give you correct output. That's why this is actually considered as invalid in case of your Java programming. क्योंकि अगर आप row size ही specify कर रहे हो, तो आपको two dimensional create करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. And that's what we don't follow this in case of, you can say, something called as Java programming. Right? So these are some of the valid and invalid statements. जैसे आपने 1D array में देखा था. Let me go ahead and take you one more example. Let us say I'm creating one integer array, right? Which is integer ARR, and I'm saying is equal to, maybe I'm passing something as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 9. Is it valid? Yes, it is also a valid statement. The reason is, here what I have done, I have not specified the size, but I have segregated the data in the form of curly brackets. So this will be treated as first row, a second row, and the third row. This will be first column, second column, and third column. This is called as a two-dimensional array representation, right? One more. I'll just copy this, right? And I'll just paste it over here. And here, if I'm saying new integer of 3 and 3, and then I'll supply this document, then it is also not okay. This is invalid. या तो आप size mention करो या तो elements mention करो, जैसे 1D array में किया था. Correct? Now, let us try to print length of ARR. So I'll say ARR dot length function. This is going to give me the length as a 3. Why it is giving me length as 3? The reason is it just counts rows in my two-dimensional array, right? Hold on. Let us say I'm just writing length of array of 0. So I'll say ARR of 0 dot length. Let me just put some more elements over here, or maybe I'll say 4, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So in this case, if you observe, my length will come as 3, array.0.length. Let us just try to copy this and find the difference. 1 and 2. Here I'll say 1 and here I'll say 2. I'll execute this. Can you observe something? Whenever you are finding the length of a two-dimensional array, it gives you number of rows present in 2D array. And when you say array of 0.length, array of 1.length, array of 2.length, it means it is going to give you individual row में कितने columns है, and that's what I have got the output. Did you all get up to this point, everyone? Yes or no? Perfect. Shall we go ahead? Shall we go ahead? All right. If I decrease one element from here, let us execute this. I hope it's clear now. Perfect. Let's execute once again. I'm getting this data. Correct? Now, let us go ahead in, you can say, accepting the data in 2D array. Vedant, we cannot go ahead by supplying only the column. The reason is, I'm saying, assume, it's logical thinking, where I'm saying I'm giving you this data, right? Now I'm saying, if you say, divide this in rows, and I'm saying I want 3 rows. So what you can do, someone will say, I'll go for 1, 2, 3, 4. Someone will say, I'll go for 5, 6 in this row, 7 and 8 in this row. Next, other person will say, no, I'll go for 1, 2, 3 in first row, 4 and 5 in second row, 6, 7 and 8 in another row. I cannot take a decision कि अगर मैं सिर्फ rows supply करती हूँ तो column automatically decide हो जाएंगे. I cannot do that. Again, that's the reason you cannot only supply the number of rows. बट अगर आपने यहाँ पे रोज एम्प्टी रखा और कॉलम दिखाया तो सी में वो चलता था, जावा में वो नहीं चलता है. हैव यू अंडरस्टूड? ऑलराइट. सी में अगर ऐसे लिखते थे तो दैट वाज अ वैलिड सिंटैक्स. राइट. परफेक्ट. लेंथ इज एक्चुअली द फील्ड नेम. लेंथ इज एक्चुअली द फील्ड नेम. कौन का? इट्स अ फील्ड. एरे का फील्ड का लेंथ. ओके. ऑलराइट. I'll just copy this and take one example where we will try to accept the data. New integer of 3, 3. I want to go for a for loop where I want to accept the elements. So I'll say enter array elements. Now, as I know it's a 2D array, so I hope you know how many for loops I will require. I will require 2 for loops. Correct? I need 2 for loops. Correct. Now, I'll say for integer I equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. For integer j equal to 0, j less than 3, j plus plus. And here I'll say sc dot next int and put it into the ARR of I and j. At this moment, I'll go for one scanner class. Sc is equal to new scanner system dot in. And we will go for putting this into the java.util package. Have you all understood how we have accepted array elements from the user? It's easy, right? Next, if I'm saying array elements are, so we will go for this and we are trying to print system.out.println. System.out.println. Why it is not giving? Anyways, I'll just type it. And we will say ARR of I and j plus slash t. So here, instead of accepting, I'm just trying to print the data. Let us try to execute this code. It is asking me enter the array elements. Here I have passed 3 and 3. Here I have passed 3 and 3. Can you take input from the user? Yes, एक m variable ले लो, एक n variable ले लो. Can you take m and n from the user at runtime? Yes, means can I allocate a memory dynamically? Yes, of course you can. So I'm passing few data. Is it giving me the correct output? Have you all got up to this point? I'll wait over here. Look at the code at your end. Perfect. Good. Right. Someone is saying matrix form में आना चाहिए. आपको matrix form में चाहिए तो आप यहाँ पे system.out.println लिख दो. Let us execute once again. Check it out. मैंने लिखा ही नहीं था matrix form में तो कैसे आएगा? What I have done, everything I have written inside the for loop. I want in the matrix form. So can I say this j loop is actually for the columns. The outer loop is for the rows. Do you all know this? Yes, we will go for advanced for loop also. Let me first complete this much part. Are we okay? You can go for advanced for loop, but I will explain that. Please trust me. But पहले basic for loop तो याद आना चाहिए आपको. Do you all know this type of a for loop? So that I can proceed? Okay, good. Code is visible at your end because I can see at my end. It's getting updated. Can you see? It's getting updated. Just refresh the page, Aparna. Is the code is visible for others? Just confirm. Good. So let's proceed. Because 2D 1D array आता है तो 2D array आपको easily आ जाएगा. Perfect. Now we will go for displaying 2D array. Display 2D array using advanced for loop. First of all, if you can recollect, suppose I have an array and I want to go for all the elements from A to be printed. I need how you will write a for loop using advanced for loop. आप लोग क्या लिखोगे यहाँ पे? I need the syntax into the chat box. I'm waiting. Right. So you will write for each element, integer element inside my array A. Do you all remember this? Or for each I inside the array. Perfect. Here, can I say this was a one-dimensional array? Right. Now, let me just go ahead with the two-dimensional array. So, for this, you need a little practice, but let me first draw one diagram. I'll just first declare one integer array is equal to new integer where I'll pass 1, 2, 3 or maybe 11, 22 and 33, comma 44, 55 and 66, comma, and maybe I'll go for this. So this is a two-dimensional array that I have declared. I'll just copy this and we will draw a nice diagram so that you can easily understand how the advanced for loop we shall write. So as far as your two-dimensional array is concerned, it is always divided into two rows in the rows and columns normally. So I will say this will be the first row, this will be the second row, and this will be the third row. How did I recognize that there are three rows? Because if you can observe, this data belongs to the first row, this data belongs to the second row, and this data belongs to the third row. Apart from that, if you can observe, the first row is having three elements inside it. Means can I say my first row will have one array which is nothing but this three rows. Again, can I say here one more time the data will be having three. Second row, three more data, and third row, three more data. But if you try to represent this, तो normally हम इसे represent कैसे करते हैं? Totally, I'll say this is my complete array, which is divided into this as the first column, right? And this as the second column, and this as the third column. Is it how you represent internally or diagrammatically? Yes or no? Right? Perfect. So now, suppose in this case, I will say this is our two-dimensional array. Why it is not saving? Let me save as. Oh, it have replaced it. Okay. So 2D array. All right. I think agenda have been changed. Okay. I'll make this. So we have seen 2D array, but if you can observe here, when I will try to represent the data, so can I say first I have to go to row 0. Do you all agree? I have to go to row 0, then I have to go to row 1, and then I have to go to row 2. Correct? But if you can observe and quickly tell me, can I say row 0 is actually one array? Correct? Row 1, row 2, they collectively are treated as an array. Means somewhere into your memory allocation, yahan ka hash code, and somewhere the hash code of this array and some must be stored somewhere over here. Hash code of this array must be stored somewhere over here, and a hash code of this array must be stored somewhere over here, let us say. So it means यहाँ पे यहाँ का data रहेगा. Here there will be a data of this, and here there will be a data of this. Can I say a 2D array is an array of 1D arrays? Obviously, this is another array which is having 3 data. That's why we say a 2D array is 1D array of 1D arrays. How did I recognize? Because if I'm saying there are 3 rows, so in that case, these 3 rows data are having 3 different addresses. So here, this is the address and this is also address, where the row 0 is itself one array. So now here, row 0 will point to this location, row 1 will point to this location, row 2 is pointing to this particular location. It means, can I say, actually, this particular array A, right? This particular array A is holding this array. Can I say like this, right? So array name will have the first row ka address, but ultimately, what is this complete array? It is nothing but a 2D array is array of 1D arrays. Is it okay? ये one dimensional array है और ये दूसरे array को point कर रहा है. And that is what is a basic definition of 2D array. Now, if I'm saying I want to represent the data of two-dimensional array, then can I say I have to go to row 0, row 1 and row 2? Can I say like this? And can I also say row 0 is an 1D array. Row 1 is an 1D array. And row 2 is again an 1D array. Perfect. So when I'll go in the row 1, can I say मुझे simple for loop लिखना पड़ेगा, advanced for loop जो 1D array को represent कर रहा है? Yes or no? Perfect. So let us see. I'll just write for each integer I inside my row, inside my array. Hold on. Please observe. I'll say for each integer j in my I. I just want to print j. Can I say here I is nothing but my row? Row 0, row 1, row 2. But row 0 एक single element है कि एक array है? It's an array. So can I write like this? Are you okay with this code now? Everyone. For each I array, अगर आपको row and column लिखना है तो आप ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो. For each row, which is actually an array, for each column inside my row, I just want to print the call data. This is also you can go for. I just say system.out.println. Let us execute. I'll put /t. It should work fine. Okay, let us check. Right. So, please observe here. I have written this code, correct? Check this out. ये जो रो है कितनी बार मूव होगा? ये पहले रो 0 पे पॉइंट करेगा, then row 1 and then row 2. This is how it will go ahead. Do you agree? Yes or no? Of course yes. In this case, row 0 अगर एक सिंगल एलिमेंट रहता है तो हम सिर्फ सिंगल एलिमेंट ही लिखते हैं. बट मेरा जो रो 0, रो 1, रो 2 है, आर दे वन डायमेंशनल एरेज? यस, रो 0 is itself a 1D array of type 1D array. Row 1 is itself another 1D type of array. Row 2, it is 1D array. And collectively, row 0, row 1, row 2, ये collectively क्या treat कर रहे हैं? ये एक और 1D array ही represent कर रहे हैं. I hope you are getting the things now. इसलिए I have said row 0 is initially this one. Where it will go? It will go here. It will see, oh, I'm pointing to this complete array. तो मुझे इस array में traverse करने के लिए column wise data fetch करना पड़ेगा. तो I'll go here, and I'll go here. So how I'm proceeding within column? So I'm proceeding with this sign. अभी कुछ समझ में आया? Everyone. Right? Again, suppose I'm talking about row 1. So it will go into the row 1. It will say, okay, I'm going into the row 1. So I'll go here to row 1. Then it will say, where I'm going inside the array A. So outer for loop was over. But is my row 1 is a single value? No, it's a complete array. तो array को, 1D array को आपको अगर traverse करना है, how do you traverse? You go here, and you go here. So who is helping you to do this? Again, your internal for loop is helping you to do this. Have you now understood? एडवांस फॉर लूप में टर्मिनेटिंग कंडीशन कैसे लूप को पता चलता है? बिकॉज इन द बैकग्राउंड एडवांस फॉर लूप यूजेस अ इटरेटर. I'll talk about iterators later on in collection, but right now you just understand the iterator will iterate through the loop till your n minus 1 or length minus 1. ठीक है? Have you all understood how we have tried to display 2D array using advanced for loop? Perfect. Good. Next, everyone, I have also proved some point in case of Java programming. Suppose I'm having the array, which is something like this. 33, maybe 44, maybe here I'm having 10 and 20, and maybe I'm having 60, 70, and 80, 90, and 100. Let us say maybe I'm having one more row, which is having 5, 4, 3. Correct? Quickly tell me, in this case, my row 1 is having, there are how many rows total? There are how many rows? If you observe, there are total 4 rows. Perfect. Now, row 1 is having how much as the length? 4. Row 2 is having how much as a length? It is 2. Row 3 is how much having a length? It is 5. Right? And row 4 is having how much length? It is 3. Can I say in every time the number of rows are having unequal number of column length? Right? Is it a multidimensional array? Yes. Is it allowed in Java? Yes. So that's called as a ragged array. So what do you mean by ragged array? An array who can hold various number of columns in each row. That's called as a ragged array. Are you okay? Yes or no? Perfect. Good. So have you all understood how we can go for a two-dimensional array, which is also called as multidimensional array in case of Java programming? And we have seen how the multidimensional array is represented. And I have proved one point, every row can have variable number of columns, that is called as a ragged array. Another example you can observe over here. We have created a two-dimensional array. We have said, let me have 3 number of rows, but I will not specify the columns. How will I specify the column? Array of 0, new integer of 2. It means first row can hold 2 elements. Second row can hold 3 elements. Third row can hold 5 elements. This is how you can go for a ragged array. Did you all get what is the meaning of ragged array? Everyone. Perfect. So, this part was remaining in case of 2D array. Perfect. Now, partial array is not the concept in case of Java programming. Okay? There's no concept of partial array. Right? Okay. Now, everyone, if I talk about 2D array, then do you all know how to first accept elements in 2D array? Yes or no? Yes. Do you know how to display elements in 2D array? Perfect. Good. Do you know how to take input of rows and columns data from user? Do you know this? Yes or no? If I'm talking about 2D array, how to accept rows and data? रोज डेटा आप एक वेरिएबल रो r ले लो, c as a column ले लो, and then you can define, right? ठीक है. So what I want all of you is, do you all know the meaning of functions? Yes or no? Perfect. So I hope I have covered the topic called as array and functions. Correct? So similar, can you do it for a 2D array? Using advanced for loop. Can you do it? Right. The third point, someone is still confused. If I'm saying I'm creating new integer of 3 and 2, so can you please tell me how much is the row size and the column size? Row is 3, column is 2. But suppose I'm saying integer a is equal to new integer r comma c. Can you tell me what is the r value and c value over here? No. So can I take it from the user, enter the row size, maybe into the integer r is equal to sc dot next int. Is the point clear? अभी समझ में आया? How do we accept the data from the user? So I will pass this r over here and I will perform the job. So can you now do this program? Obviously first you have to write this. जब तक r की वैल्यू नहीं मिलेगी तब तक आप मेमोरी अलोकेट नहीं कर सकते. जब तक c की वैल्यू नहीं मिलेगी, enter the column size, you cannot go for this in memory initialization. So I hope you the things are okay. So आपको exact solution ही दे दिया मैंने. It's easy. So can I say you can take this as one more practice question? Will you do it? Perfect. Right? You can. Again, someone is asking. Guys, I've repeated many times. Advanced for loop you use for displaying the data. When you have already, I'm saying I have a record, I have created an array of 100 records of student, correct? And now I'm saying, please print the data using advanced for loop, right? So you can print it from first to last. But I'm saying, please accept the data using advanced for loop. It is wrong. You can advanced for loop help you to iterate through the record. Record ही नहीं रहेगा तो वो iteration क्यों कर रहा है? Are we okay? I have mentioned it very clearly in the last class. ठीक है. So will you please do this practice question? Is it easy or difficult? It's easy. Perfect. Next point. Next question. Question number 2. I have one array which is array of 3 by 3. I have one array which is B array which is again 3 by 3. I want addition of two arrays. Element by element. That means C of 3 by 3 will be equal to A of 3 by 3 plus B of 3 by 3. कुछ आएगा आपको ये? पहले दो array accept कीजिए and then using for each loop A of ij plus B of ij should go into C of ij. Can you all do these two examples with ease? You will try this. Good. Obviously, in this case, I have mentioned A and B and C इन तीनों का size same होगा तो ही तो addition हो सकता है ना. Otherwise, what it will give you as an exception? Array index out of bound exception. Hope the things are clear. Right. Ragged array हुआ तो भी चलता है but the point over here is अगर आप उस element को add करोगे उसे element ही नहीं मिलेगा तो how it is possible? I hope the things are clear. Right. Shall we go ahead? ठीक है. So assuming you all have understood the concept of you can say array, there is one more concept before we proceed to enum, something called as variable argument method, right? So I'll go ahead and create a new project first. Now, let us say I'm writing one sum function 10, 20. Correct? So I'm not having a sum function, so definitely I have to write somewhere integer a, integer b. and I have to just print addition is equal to a plus b. And I hope you remember my main method is static. यहाँ पे this method must be static. Correct? When I execute this code, I'm going to get the answer. Is this code is understood by everyone? Correct. Next, if I'm saying I have sum 10, 20, 30, will the same sum function will work for me now? No. What is the reason? What is the reason? The reason is the number of arguments are not, you can say, matching. So what's the solution that I'll go for? One solution, I will do a function overloading where I'll just pass integer a, integer b, and integer c. I'll perform a plus b plus c. Will this work fine? Yes, this will also work fine. Correct. Now the point over here is, if I'm saying sum, when I'm giving a call sum, I'm passing 2 arguments, it is performing the addition. When I'm saying passing 3 arguments, in that case, you are just trying to, you can say, have one more function. If I pass 4 arguments, I will need one more function. But ultimately what I'm saying, the functionality, the logic is actually going to be same. Correct. But what may vary? The variation is only in number of arguments. Right? So if the variation is in number of arguments, but the functionality is exactly the same, then we go for variable argument method, or it is also called as variable arity method. Okay. Now, let us say I'll go for same sum function. I'll just copy this, right? And here, I'll say, we will write a sum function, but at this moment, I am not aware about the number of arguments in my program. That means, instead of passing the actual argument, I'll pass integer dot 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 and I'll say arguments. So whenever inside any function you pass 3 dots along with the data type, that is called as variable arguments. Right? So now let us say I'll declare one variable integer result is equal to 0. Next, I'll say for each integer element in my arguments, result is equal to result plus each element. I'll just try to finally print the result is equal to plus result. Now let us understand. Let us first execute this project. Can you see I'm getting the answer for both the sum functions? Yes. So how it is working? Let us observe. Here I have passed 2 arguments. So the first argument 10 will go into arguments of 0th array. 20 will go into argument of 1. Right? So here this dot 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 actually is maintaining an array of arguments. But at this moment, I am not aware about the array of arguments. So that's called as variable arguments. When I'm passing 3 arguments 10, 20, 30, तो यहाँ पे एक array बनेगा जिसमें 10, 20 and 30 जा रहा है. And how I'm performing the job? First time, I'm declaring the result is equal to 0. Are you able to understand this much logic? I'm traversing through each element in the argument array and adding it to your result variable. So in this case, if you say element, it will go as 10 in the argument. Initially result is 0. 0 plus 10 is it 10. Do I have one more argument? Yes. What's the data? That is 20. So 20 is added with a result called as 10. 20 plus 10 giving me 30. Do I have any more argument? No. So it will come out and displaying the result. Can I say it is traveling in your arguments array in one by one and then it is adding that each element? Once the argument array is over, then that will come out of the loop, coming on line number 12 and printing the result. Have you understood up to this point? Right. Someone will say, I'm now passing 9, 6, 3, and 2 with 4 arguments. Is it valid? Yes, it is valid. तो यहाँ पे 20 आया. Someone will say, I'll not pass any argument. क्या मेरा ये चलेगा? Yes, result 0 आ रहा है. यहाँ पे मैंने 0 arguments pass किए हैं. Right? And here I have passed 3 arguments. Here I have passed 4 arguments. Are we okay? Have you all understood what is variable length arguments? That is called as dot, dot, dot. Right? So if you have, it is very useful when you know the functionality is going to be same, only the arguments are going to be changed. That's called as variable argument. Background mein, it maintains actually a one-dimensional array. All good up to this point, everyone? Right. So as far as your day 6 agenda was concerned, we have seen 2D array, we have seen variable argument method, and now we will talk about enum. And then enum is over, we will start with string. I'll save this. This diagram was missing. ठीक है. Now, I'll copy this. I'll help you out with one more example. Again, does it work only with a static method? Answer is no. आपको याद है हमने sum को static क्यों बनाया है तुषार? या everyone? मैंने sum को static क्यों बनाया? Because my main class and some function are having the same scope in which main is residing. Right? और मुझे directly sum को call करना है, object नहीं create करना है. Do you all remember? हाँ, इसलिए. Correct? Perfect. ठीक. Everyone. Suppose I'm saying string str, maybe f name is equal to args of 0. Suppose I'm saying string l name is equal to args of 1. And suppose I'm saying string m name is equal to args of 2. And at some point of time, I'm saying integer id is equal to args of 3. And obviously, I have to go for some function, which is called as, यहाँ पे क्या आना चाहिए? Parse, integer dot parseInt. Perfect. Now, can you please tell me how many command line arguments I'm accepting? I'm dealing with how many arguments? 4 arguments. Perfect. Now, is it valid to accept 4 arguments? Yes. Suppose I'm saying I'm deleting this. Is it valid to go for 2 arguments? Of course, yes. That means, can I say the string arguments which are used for command line argument can vary in their length as far as user requirement is concerned? Correct. So till this point, I have shown you only one syntax, string command line argument, args, right? But now I'm writing dot, dot, dot. I'll save it. Is it working fine? Yes, 100% it will work fine. Why it is giving array index out of 1? Because I have not supplied the command line argument. But can you see it is working fine over here? Yes. This is also the valid syntax for me. तो आप string args array लिखो या string array args लिखो या string dot 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 args लिखो, one and the same thing. Dot dot dot, you have to give only 3 times dot, which proves to your compiler 3 times dot 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 indicates variable argument method. Okay? All right. Shall we go ahead? No. अगर आपको एक ही dot means if you have, you can say only arguments to be passed which may vary in variable number. So it should take only one parameter. Okay? Because how can you conclude? For example, if I'm passing test function. Just a second. Right. So if I'm saying a test function, in this case, suppose I'm saying integer dot 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 and float dot dot dot. अब मैं टेस्ट फंक्शन को कॉल करती हूँ 1 2 3 4 and 5 6.5 and 7. क्या कंपाइलर ऑटोमेटिकली ये कंसीडर कर सकता है क्या? इट्स नॉट सो इंटेलिजेंट, राइट? दैट्स व्हाई इट इज नॉट वैलिड. ओके, ठीक. Shall we go ahead to the next part, which is called as enum? Or shall I wait? You want to have a look? Okay, I'll wait for a minute. At least I'll create a new project. I'll wait for 2 minutes. Go through the code, whatever we have seen till this point. If any doubts, please do ask, because enum is completely a separate topic in Java, which is a little bit different from your, you can say, the code which you have seen in C and C++ too. I'll wait for 2 minutes. Okay. इंडेक्स जीरो आउट ऑफ बाउंड को कैसे रिजॉल्व करते हैं? राइट क्लिक, रन एज, रन कॉन्फ़िगरेशन, supply some arguments over here in Java application and give some arguments. This is one way. Second, check the array size. If you have given wrong array size and you are trying to access that element, then also it is going to give you array index out of bounds. Or if you're saying, I have created array of 5 elements and you're supplying 7 elements to it, it will again go index out of bound exception. So there are variations. Okay. I need to look into the code कि आप कौन से कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बात कर रहे हो कि इंडेक्स जीरो आउट ऑफ बाउंड को कैसे सॉल्व करें. So either you share the screen at one or you can join the lab session to get it resolved. Okay? Because right now I cannot understand कि index zero आप कौन से angle से बात कर रहे हो. Are you talking with respect to command line argument or are you talking about the array? So I need to look into the code. Okay? Maybe at one you can share the screen. Right. While understanding, people are saying they are finding it easy, right? When I teach you, you find it easy. But when you do it on your own, you find it difficult. Is it so for many people? Right. So it is because when I'm teaching you, I'm trying to teach you in a simplified way. So आपको concepts are getting clear. But when you do it on your own, you are finding it difficult because this is new language to you and you need a lot of practice. If I'm teaching you 4 hours, you need your own 4 hours for the practice. Then only you will get a good confidence. Okay. So with the help of practice, you will definitely go understand and will get a good confidence too. All right. Shall we go ahead? Perfect. Good. Now, let us talk about a new topic which is called as enum. Right? I hope you have done enum keyword in case of C and C++ also. Basically, enum, whatever prior knowledge that you have, I'm talking on the base of that. Enum is basically used for creating more than one constant in your program. Means if you have const, then definitely you can go for one const keyword. In C, in Java, you can go for final. But when you say I want set of constants whose value should remain same, I'll go for enum. Point number 2, they take only int value. Now, and the most important point, why one should go for enum is to increase readability. To increase the readability of the code. That is what is the need of enum. Correct? Now, it is similar to your C or C++, but Java is having its own another, you can say, features also. I'll explain that. Now, for example, I'm saying I have 10 departments. Maybe I have training, I have admin, I have security department, I have student department, I have maybe some board of members department. Just give me a second. I'll be back. All right. So let us say I have this one more department. Maybe I have some R&D department, and maybe I have some faculty department and many more, right? So suppose I have developed a very big project which is having number of functionalities into that, correct? And when I say I have number of functionality, so I will definitely call for or use a switch case statement. Do you remember? Do you know what do you mean by switch case? Where when I talk about case 1, it is going to be training. When I say I'll talk about case 2, it will be, let us say, admin. When I talk about case 3, I'll say it is security and so on. But at this moment, I am the first developer, and maybe some other person who is also working on the same project. Is it easy for us to remember the numbers in the program? Okay, 6 number is for R&D, 4th number is for students, 2 number is for admin, 1 is for training. No, it is not easy. And that's why what I do, I will try to give them a human readable names, and that is nothing but maybe I'm saying training in capital, admin, security, student, and so on and so on. Now tell me, if I'm saying case training, case admin, case security, case student, is my readability of the code is getting increased? Yes. And obviously, it is more easier for us to read the code. Instead of me remembering the numbers, now if I'm remembering the names, it is easy. So when I'm saying I want to map this training word with the integer value 1, I want to map this admin number with the value as a 2. I want to map security with this 3 and so on. So this mapping can be done with the help of enum. अभी कुछ समझ में आया? So when I'm saying admin as a enum constant, compiler will automatically convert that admin word into 2. When I'm saying case student, in that case, compiler will automatically represent student as 4. It is just used for reading the code in a more better way. That's why we go for enum. Are we okay? Did you all understand the need of enum so that I can proceed? Okay. Now, let us go ahead to a next important as far as your Java enum is concerned. Now, whenever you are talking about C enum, तो आपने declare ऐसे किया था, some enum, then identifier, some list. For example, enum color, red, green, blue. Normally, enum constants are given in capital letters. Red is given as 0 value, green is given as 1 value, and blue is given as 2 value. Right? Do you all know at least up to this much? Correct. And if you can easily remember, if I assign red value as a 5, green will be allocated as 6, blue will be allocated as 7, right? And that is called as, in C programming, the constants were given values one step ahead of the previous value, right? Next, in case of C programming, I'm not talking about Java. In case of C programming, if you are saying here red is 10, green is 20, blue is 30, that was also okay. Correct? Now, in Java, we will talk about after 2 minutes, but let us first understand few more points. In case of enum in C++ or C, you would have assigned different values also. So by default, the first enumeration constant is associated with the value 0. Next will be with 0, next previous constant plus 1. So only 1 से ही increase होती है value if you go in enum C and C++. So for example, diamonds is given 1, hearts will be given 2, clubs will be given 3, spades will be given 4. That is how your enum works in case of C and C++. Correct? But now let us talk about enum in Java. Now, enum is a class that represent group of constants. So what is the major difference? जावा में enum नाम का एक खुद का class है. Go to java.lang, check the classes and check this enum. Right? So please listen carefully. If we say in Java, there are two things. One, if you write small enum and if you write capital enum, small enum is a keyword which is basically used to create constants. But जब आप constant create करते हो तो background में आपका enum class refer होता है. It is a class which is there in java.lang. I'll prove the points, don't worry. So I'll save this. Maybe I'll go for image number 3, enum. Correct? Just let me complete the part, then we will talk about it. Enum is a keyword which is used to create an enum. The constant declared inside are separated by comma and should be in uppercase. The way you have written enum, name of the enum, 3 constants that I have specified, and they are separated by comma. That is called as enum in Java programming. Correct? Now, so if you can observe in Java documentation, enum is a class enum, which package it belongs to? java.lang. But right now, I would request you, please ignore this part. The reason is आपको अब तक generics नहीं पता है. पहले मैं generics बाद में cover करूंगी, तब आपको ये topic पे फिर से लेके आऊंगी. But for time being, consider this class enum. That's it. Here also, consider this class enum. This is a generic. For time being, do not go into it. Please trust me. Extends object. So, next point. If you see enum and constructor, enum and the constructor. Right now, in Java, you have an enum class, which is final class. You cannot inherit. There's an abstract class and object is the supermost class. This is what is the hierarchy of enum. Right now, I have shown you this much hierarchy. That means object class and the enum class. Right now, I have not created a user-defined enum, so I'm ignoring this. Correct? Now observe. I'll come to this point. Hold on. Let us say, I'll first go for creation of enum. Enum may be color. And here I'll say red, I'll say green, I'll say blue. Everyone, have I declared enum outside the class in which main is defined? Right. Can I say my enum is having a name as color? Correct. How many constants I have defined this inside the enum? 3 constants. Can you please tell me enum is in which package? Default package. Enum color is in which package? Default package. So can I say my package is अब यहाँ पे पैकेज कौन सा है? इट्स अ डिफॉल्ट पैकेज, एंड उस पैकेज के अंदर देयर इज day6_4. व्हाट इज इट्स टाइप? इसका टाइप क्या है? इट्स अ क्लास, एंड आई हैव समथिंग कॉल्ड एज कलर. व्हाट इज इट्स टाइप? इट्स अ enum. So have I proved a point? A package can consist of a class, a package can consist of enumerations or enums. इसलिए अगर आप थोड़ा ध्यान से देखोगे डॉक्यूमेंटेशन में, तो when you click on java.lang, it's a package consist of classes, consist of enums, consist of exceptions, and so on. Have you understood why I have created enum outside the class? Because it should be declared in the package level. Because if you write it within the class, so enum constant will not be accessible outside the class. Are you okay? ठीक है. So there is no semicolon, nothing. I'll talk about it. Hold on. Have you at least understood up to this point? यहाँ तक समझ में आया कि पैकेज के अंदर enum आ सकता है? Right. Now let us understand what happens internally to this. I'll take this code. I want everyone to concentrate. Everyone. I'll save this and I'll say enum class. I'll go to VS Code, right? File, open folder. I'll say day6. I'll just create one test file .java. I'll copy this code of enum into this VS Code, right? Let's save this. Everyone, can you please quickly tell me how do you compile the code in VS Code? Can I write Java C test.java? Perfect. Test.class is created. Next, I need a correct, you can say, syntax for compiling the Java code and or looking into the Java class file. मुझे test.class file को देखना है. Which command you use? You write Java P, you write -c test.class. Do you remember? Yes or no? Correct. Quickly tell me, in my test.java file, how many classes I have created? 1. How many enums I have created? 1. So can you observe I have got test.class? Correct. But can you observe I have got color.class also? Right. The reason behind that is, after compilation, let me hit enter. Why I have came to VS Code. Please observe, there is a class test. उसका कंस्ट्रक्टर बना हुआ रहेगा, उसमें एक मेन है. Are you okay with this? This I have shown you at the time of main writing of main. Correct? Now, let us write Java P -c color.class. Please observe everyone. Can you see color.class में भी there is a class color which extends java.lang.enum of color type. Are you understanding up to this point? What does it mean? मैंने बनाया enum है, लेकिन background में enum is getting converted into its own class on its own. So that means I have a class color which is extended from enum. Are you okay? Perfect. In this case, how many constants I have declared? Red, green, and blue. So can you observe it has created public static final color red, public static final color green, public static final color blue. Means 3 fields are automatically converted in the form of public static and final. Have I done anything over here? No, it is done automatically in case of enum in Java, right? After that, can you observe there is one method, public static color values method. So this method is also created automatically when you are creating an enum into your program. What does this values hold? It holds the actual values of which type of color type. एक से ज्यादा वैल्यू है इसलिए रिटर्न टाइप इसका कलर एरे बना. Next, it adds one more function, value of. Value of function is basically used to fetch some value. It is going to return me one value, so its return type is color. Can you see? Here it is saying red and then color green and then it is blue. These are the values which are declared as static, and I just wanted to show you whenever you are creating the enum with some values, this much code gets converted after compilation actually into this line of code. How does it is taking? First of all, whatever is your color, enum name, its class color extends enum. This is what is created. Point number 2, the first field is red. It is created as public static final color red. The second field, green, is created as public static final color green. And the third field, which I have created as blue, is having public static final color blue. That means the fields of the enum declaration are internally getting converted in the public static final fields inside the class color. Along with that, your compiler adds 2 more methods in the class. Which 2 methods? One is values, another is value of. So here, if you can observe carefully, can I conclude from this? These are the fields of enum and these are the methods of the enum. Can I say like this? Yes. Another important point. मैंने कितने lines of code लिखा था? I have only written a 2 line of a code, but background में this code has been emitted on its own. यहाँ से ये code automatically emit हुआ है. Compiler ने emit किया है. So who have done this job, उसे हम बोलते हैं sole constructor. Enum is the only class who is having a sole constructor. Most commonly asked interview question, what do you mean by constructor? What are the types of constructor? What is constructor overloading? What is constructor chaining? And finally, they ask you, what is a sole constructor? The job of the sole constructor is present in java.lang.enum class. What it do? It just emits the code on its own. Compiler or the user do not have to give a call to the constructor. Whenever we create an enum, its code is emitted on its own. How it is emitted? The fields of the enum are having public static final. The color of the enum, or basically the name of the enum, having the class called as color. Did you all get up to this point? Everyone. All right. Now let's read it. Check it out. Can you see here? Class enum, it is having a constructor, which is sole constructor, which is having enum, having name and ordinal value. कुछ समझ में आया? Everyone? Are we okay? Perfect. Yes, Aditya. I'll answer you. Don't post the answer in bold. It is visible. Chat box. Don't post the questions in bold. I've read your question. I purposefully stopped it. I'm coming to that point. सोल कंस्ट्रक्टर ऐसा कंस्ट्रक्टर है जिसे हमें कॉल करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. सोल कंस्ट्रक्टर सिर्फ आपके enum क्लास में ही यूज होता है. सोल कंस्ट्रक्टर का जॉब क्या है कि जब भी कंपाइलर आपका यू कैन से व्हेन यू आर फाइंडिंग दिस enum डिक्लेरेशन इन माय प्रोग्राम, कंपाइलर ऑटोमेटिकली जनरेट्स दिस कोड इन द बैकग्राउंड। तो कन्वर्ट करके कैसे क्रिएट करता है, इनम कलर किया है तो कलर नाम का एक क्लास बना देता है। फाइनल क्लास कलर एक्सटेंड्स इनम, जितने भी फील्ड्स है उनको पब्लिक स्टैटिक फाइनल कलर बना देता है। और दो मेथड्स भी ऐड कर देता है, वैल्यूज एंड वैल्यू ऑफ। values method is used for fetching how many values are there in enum. Value of is used for fetching how many one value का actual data. कुछ समझ में आया? तो code emit होना is generally a sole constructor. Is it okay? Is it fine? ठीक है? Now tell me, on the left side, this side, right? Value of is used for fetching one individual value. I'll prove these points. Please don't worry. But let me first go ahead with the flow. Don't pose the questions until and unless I complete the topic. Right? On the left side, because I've told you in the initial stage only. Let me first complete the point. First, on the left side, observe this side. What is this color? Quickly tell me. ये color क्या है? What's the type? Class है, enum है, क्या है वो? आपके लिए as a developer ये क्या है? It is a enum. Perfect. Good. Next, how many constants you have declared? 3 constants. Red, green, blue. Right? Red को position number 0 है, green position 1, blue position 2. So red, green and blue position 0, position 1, position 2. इसे हम बोलते हैं ordinal values. Ordinal means at what position the constant is declared. Okay? ठीक है? Next point. Observe the right hand side part. The compiled code. Correct? My compiler have searched. There is a enum color. So what my compiler have done? My compiler have converted color enum into what? Into a class. Perfect. A class which extends which class? The class color which extends enum as a capital class. और ये enum किसे extend कर रहा है? Supermost class कौन सा है? Guys, it's a class. lang पैकेज है. enum कौन से क्लास को extend कर रहा है? Object क्लास को. ठीक है. 3 constants के लिए did you all understand ये fields 3 create हो गए हैं और additional 2 methods भी create हो गए हैं. करेक्ट? तो जब मेरा कंपाइलर इस प्रोग्राम को कंपाइल करेगा, in that case the first Java file will be the test.class और program.class and color.class. अब आपको समझ में आया कोड कंपाइल होने के बाद 2 क्लास फाइल्स क्यों बनी है? परफेक्ट. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, प्लीज ऑब्जर्व. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, कैन यू प्लीज टेल मी इन द क्लास enum हाउ मेनी फील्ड्स आई हैव? 3. स्टैटिक है कि नॉन स्टैटिक है? स्टैटिक. ओके. नेक्स्ट, अगर क्लास enum है, राइट, in that case how many methods I have? 2. Static or non-static? Static. Perfect. Good. So if you want to call a static field or a static method, तो आप कैसे कॉल करते हो? क्लास नेम डॉट फील्ड नेम. तो मेरी if I'm saying red, is it a field or a method? It's a field. It's a static field. How will I access this red? उसके आगे क्या लिखूंगी? color dot red. कुछ समझ में आया? Again, here also color dot green or color dot All good up to this point? ठीक है. Next. Can I say, if I want to know the position of some specific variable, can I write color dot red, जो भी इसका data आएगा, dot, I'll say ordinal. So what is ordinal? It is a method. I'll prove all the points. So I'll just write ordinal method is used to fetch the position of the color. Okay. Next, if I want to know how many values are there in my enum, can I give a call to values method? Yes. But is it a static method? Yes. So can I call color dot values? Correct. Next, value of is used to fetch one single value. Correct. So can I say value of, अगर ब्रैकेट में रेड पास किया, color dot value of red, ऐसे कुछ तो पास करना पड़ेगा. Have you understood why I have used color dot something and so on? क्योंकि my sole constructor have converted enum constant and enum field as static. Are we okay? Ordinal is basically the position at which your constant is declared. We will see what's the difference between ordinal and value of. Don't worry. You can. Guys, I have mentioned कि 3 constants की 3 fields convert हो रही है और 2 methods add हो रहे हैं. वो 2 methods कौन से हैं? Values and value of. ये दोनों methods sole constructor generate कर रहा है. Correct? मैंने short में बोला values method is going to give you how many values are there in the enum constant. अगर values method मुझे multiple values return कर रहा है तो उसका return type आपको समझ में आ रहा है, color array है, array concept मैंने सिखाया है, right? And value of is taking one argument. तो value of red, अगर मैंने individual कोई color के field का data fetch करने का try किया तो I will use value of method. Okay, I've repeated the same 3 times. All right, did you all get up to this point? Sole constructor का meaning समझ में आया? So enum का, आपका जो enum था वो color था, correct? Can you see कि उसने final बनाया है? Right? So मेरा enum class का नाम color था. Color class extend हो रहा था enum से. Enum extend हो रहा था object से. Are you now okay with this hierarchy? I'll take example after the break. Next point. Are you able to understand this much part now? Perfect. So we will see the application of enum. We will see the example of enum after the break. But let's talk about class enum, constructor. There's a sole constructor, correct? Now, here I have methods. I'll not talk about clone and so on, but see this. Name, it's string. Ordinal, it is again integer. ToString, it is a string. Hash code, it's a integer. So can I say enum class के ये उसके खुद के methods है? Do you agree? अब आप बताइए, ordinal is a static or non-static method? Non-static. If it is a non-static, in that case, can you please tell me, if it is a non-static method, then मुझे enum class का object create करना पड़ेगा. Perfect. So, have you understood up to this point? Yes or no? Right. Good. So, I hope at least you have understood what is enum. What do you mean by enum class hierarchy? What are the enum methods? Sole constructor का meaning I've written. Programmers cannot invoke this constructor. It is used by the code emitted by the compiler. Code emission means it is automatically generated. So, जब भी आप enum declare करते हो तो उसका sole constructor call होता है और background में ये compiled code generate होता है. and इसलिए for enum also it generate a dot class file. After that, I have talked about, you can say, meaning of enum. After the break, we will see what and how you can fetch the methods of the enum, or how do you use ordinal or values of method, right? So with this, I'll stop here first. And if you have any queries, please do ask. So prior to the break, we have